everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, we're going to do the whole spiel again. Hi, I'm Erica. I tend to make a little bit of a crafty mess, and sometimes I end up with a card or two or five. I have a bit of a crafting problem, but right this week, I've been having actually this week, the last 2 months or so, one of my little doggies has had a lot of health problems, so I have not been so on the ball with sharing and making, but I thought, because we've had somewhat positive news today in that she has got a form of cancer which produces these lumps in her skin, and she is booked in for surgery next week, and hopefully with a little bit of luck it will just require the surgery and then she will be cured, and then we just have to keep an eye out for like more of these popping up eventually. So fingers crossed, and I am choosing to be positive, sending out positive energy into the universe and the world and to my little chica, to hopefully by this time next week-ish, so in a week's time is Friday today, I don't know when this is going to go up, but she's having her surgery on the Wednesday. And I'm hoping that in a week's time from filming this, she will have the all clear. So we are going to go for that. But today we are going to be making a couple of cards. But I am going to be showing you a couple of things that I've made with the Beyond Measure. Yes. Stamp, die set, and coordinating layering stencils. I do not know where my words have gone. I really love layering stencils. They are so fun. I love coloring as well, but sometimes you cannot beat layering stencils, and I do find that they're versatile. You get different looks depending on how you use them, and I am going to show you 2 different cards made with this week. So here we have them, 2 very different cards. So I am not known for my clean and simple cards with lots of white space. It feels naked to me, but I actually kind of like how this one turned out, because it has all those beautiful details thanks to the layering stencils. And so on this one I used the outline stamp in black ink over the stenciling. So you do the ink blending first and then stenciling. And on this one I have heat embossed, and I have layered and die cut and spritzed and sprayed and blended and just dabbed. Yeah, it is all going on here. So have a look at that. It's a lot, but I like it. So what we're gonna do is, first of all, we're gonna go through how I made this one. Super easy, you cannot go wrong. And then we're gonna go through this one, and there'll probably be a lot of jibber jabbering in between, and it's gonna be a longish video again, but I'm hoping you're here for it. And as a little bonus, although I've not turned this one into a card yet, I also have this piece already. It is in here. I'm just trying to get it out. It's not wanting to come out. It's like, I'm all nice and snuggly in here, so we're gonna stay. So I have also blended this one into a rainbow. Yes. And we're not gonna turn that into a card today, but if you want to see how I do that, I actually have another video on here somewhere where I actually go through like how I create the layers and how I kind of keep things somewhat in the right place. So if you want to check that out, I just go and have a look on my channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, what you waiting for? I promise it's not all this crazy every single time. A little bit of a white lie. But you will always find positive energy and lots of makings and happy smiles and lots of jibber jabbering here on my channel. So if you're into that, you're in the right place. I do not know what's going on with me today. It could be nervous energy, or there's been so much worrying in the last couple of months, and now it's kind of like the end is in sight. I say the end is in sight. It feels like there is light at the end of the tunnel, So I'm kind of like, "Ooh, let's head towards the light, the good positive light, not the light." But I tell you what, let's head down to the craft table and let's get focusing on the crafting instead of this, because I think I've lost the plot. So yes, let's get card making. Don't get on the crazy train. Right, so let's just have a quick look again at this. So this is the outline stamp of Beyond Measure. It's beautiful. It will be great to color as well. You also have a coordinating die, and these are the layering stencils. So on the back of these, you can always get like a little bit of like inspiration on how to use them, colors, etc, etc. But first of all, we're gonna dive right in here. We are going to blend our little hearts out and get all those leaves done. So the green I'm using here is Grassy Knoll, which is my like go-to green for leaves. It is stunning and beautiful and gorgeous. And here I was like, oh, do I go key lime or do I go like olive? What do I do? And I decided to go for key lime to kind of give a little bit of like extra, not extra color, because you know it's all like the same color-ish. Not same color, it's green, but it's like different shades and stuff. So here you can see the difference in the two colors. And then we're gonna hop into our flowers. So all of the stencils are numbered, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on how many pieces there are. I don't think I've ever seen a set with more than 6 stencils. So they are all numbered, and it's really, really easy. You know, you just do them in the right order, and then you'll end up with brilliant results every time. So here we are going to go with a little bit of sparkling rose. It is a gorgeous pink color, and I am going for quite a soft layer for the first layer, and I don't want to go to kind of like too heavy. And this is one of the reasons why I use blender brushes, and I also tap off of the lid. So you see like on the inside of the lid there's color, so I dub on the ink pad, and then I tap off the excess on the lid, and I also feel like this gives me a much better coverage on the brushes themselves. So that is what I do that. And then we're gonna wipe this off just a little bit. I use old kitchen towels, like the washable ones, so that I don't have to waste paper, because I don't like waste, so I'm trying to limit that as much as I can. Now for the second layer of the flowers, we are going to go in with the bubblegum. It is a rich pink color, which is fantastic. And right away you can see all those like details coming to life. So here we're going to go in with our second layer for the leaves to also give those a little bit of detail. And I have covered up the little middles of the flowers because I didn't want those to get green. So I'm actually going to be using one of those itty bitty brushes from the Rabbit Hole Designs. And we are going to use, I think we ended up using Clementine. So a little bit of ink, and get that in there because this is brand new. I've never used this color on this brush. So we're just going to rub that onto the middle of the flowers. And then we are going to, again, just put this away, clean up, and move on to the next step, which is stamping the outline stamp with the help of a Misty. So I forgot to film the actual doing of it. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it that it is definitely worth taking those extra few, or even like a minute, to make sure that you line it up properly and get it right the first time, especially when you spend a lot of time ink blending and stuff. And then I use something called Ink Off, this stuff here. It comes in a bottle and also an ink pad, but you're lucky if you get the spray now because it's sold out everywhere. It's so brilliant. And you get such clean, great results, and I really, really love that. So big kudos to Ink on 3 for coming up with that solution for me. So I didn't have to do it myself. But here is what it looks like when it's all stamped and ready. And then I wanted to use the little thank you hot foil sentiment. So this is a new edition from this month's release, August release. So I have stamped these up. Well, sorry, I've not stamped them up. I have hot foiled them up, and then I have used the coordinating die cut to cut them out. And the coordinating die cuts actually come with like the little words, and then also like the outline sort of shadow boxing. So if you want to not use hot foil, you can actually just cut that out of like gold cardstock and layer them up, and you pretty much get the same look, if not even better. I don't know. Depends on whether you like flat or texture and layers. But here we are going to put our card together, and we're just going to add a little bit of double-sided tape and stick this down onto a white card base. I did trim this down a little bit so you get a tiny bit of like white around the edge. Again, more white space. I'm so proud of me. And we're going to also glue down those thank you hot foiled sentiments, and with that pretty much the card is done. So yay me, coolio, right? So I'm going to be using my grit mat and a little bit of liquid adhesive to try to get these things on straight. I am completely notorious for putting things on wonky, even when I take the extra time. It's like I'm incapable of putting things on straight. But I am trying, and hopefully it works better for you than it does for me. So here is card number 1, finished. And yeah, so much white space. And I actually really like it. Like, what's going on? But yes, okay. So card number 1, and we're going to move straight into card number 2. So we're going to take the same stamp set, Beyond Measure. We're going to take only the outline stamp, and we are going to pop a couple of pieces, well, actually a piece at a time, of cardstock into a mini misty, and then we're going to prepare this with the cottontail embossing tool from Rabbit Hole Designs. And the reason we're going to do this is because we're going to be doing some heat embossing. Now, I did manage to kind of move slightly out of frame here, so I guess, yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm not always on top of it, no. So we are going to be adding lots of embossing ink, and this is the ink pad from Wow Embossing. And we're going to go over all of those details because it's really fine and detailed image. I love that. And then we're going to stamp that. I usually do stamp twice just to make sure that I get it really nice and juicy and inky. And then this gold embossing powder is rich gold. No, it's just rich gold. And this one is opaque white. So I did 3. Yes, because why just do 1? Well, you're on a roll, right? And here I have done 2 in the rich gold, but this one I have actually so that one, never mind. You know what? So there is a little bit of a difference here. You can actually see that. So the one on the left, I used my heat tool on top. So you can see that it's not like super perfect. Sorry about the flickering. It's not a super perfect melting. Whereas on this one, I heated the embossing powder from underneath. So you see you get a much smoother and much sort of thicker embossing. So that's just a little tip for you as well. So if you have a really fine detailed image, try heating your paper from underneath because it does leave so much more embossing powder for the melting. Now I did grab some inks here, and the grays I actually didn't end up using, and blues I thought, you know what, let's use blues because I really love blue. Blues are my favorite color. And at first I thought, you know what, we're gonna use all of these colors. So I was thinking blue flowers and gray leaves, but then I was like, you know what, let's try something else. So I took the sky blue and I just wiped the ink pad all over the paper. And then I used the Seaside and Storm colors to add details to the flowers and the leaves. So I ended up using just the blue colors for everything. So this was a complete and utter experiment. And I mean, I did have a completely different plan to begin with. But as often happens in my craft room, things kind of went all like, oh, hey, let's try this. So, you know, the crazy train went to the left instead of going to the right. But you will see that the results actually ended up really cool. So, I mean, you've seen the card already, so you know. But this is where this kind of thing happened, or how it happened. And then at first I was like, oh, shall I just maybe leave it as it is? But then I thought, no. We're going to cut this out. And, oh, look at that. It's so cool. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Oh, I love that. And then the elongated lattice cover plate. I really wanted to use this because it's a fun, really fun, fabulous pattern. And I'm using this, this is a honey gold mirror cardstock from Tonic. They don't actually do this one anymore, so I have to be very careful with how I use my my paper, or this paper, because there's so little left of it. So I wanted to cut this out, and then I have also cut out another, I want to say 1 or 2, there could be 2 pieces actually of this. So I wanted to lay them up to kind of really stack them up to make a pattern. And then on the card base, I actually spritzed some blue and gold just to kind of bring in a little bit more interest. And then the flower, which has also got a layer or 2. Yes, I'm addicted to layers. They are going to get added. But here, again, I just had one of those moments like, ooh, maybe like with all that going on in the background, I should use the white heat embossed piece. But sometimes you have to check. But I decided to use the blue because it was all rich, sort of like, think like rich blue brocade. Oh yeah, that was kind of the look I was going for. So the white I kept for another card. So this is going to get added directly onto the card base, and then we are going to also stamp up a sentiment, of course, and add a little bit of bling-a-ling-a-ling. But this right away, as soon as I put that down, I was like, yes, good choice. This was the choice. So the sentiment is from the stamp set itself. So we're going to stamp that up with some black ink, and it's going to say "You're loved beyond measure," which is such a lovely sentiment. And this I've just trimmed down to like a simple little banner, and then we're going to glue that without foam tape. It's going to be just white glue? No, liquid glue. And that is going to go right at the bottom too, because I kind of was like, oh, do I put that like right on top of the flowers? But I didn't want to cover them up. And the final touch to kind of stick with the matte gold of the mirror cardstock, or the gold cardstock, is the matte gold pearls from Pinkfresh Studios. And at first I was like, oh, we're just going to put 2 on the little banner. And then I was like, oh, but we could put some little ones and the like in some of these holes, because it would just like, or like in the pattern, just to kind of like bring in a little bit of more interest. And then I was like, just as I was about to put them away, I was like, oh, maybe the flowers need some in the middle as well. And I really, really, really think that is the icing on the cake, for sure. With that, the card is done, and so am I, actually. Yes, we are going to wrap this up now with one last little look at the card. And big thank you from me for stopping by. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I will link everything down below with compensated affiliate links at no extra cost to you. And I'll see you soon again.